Hello, Happy New Year, and welcome back to March's Planning Mess. I'm going to do a 2025 recap and just kind of show you how everything ended in the books that I was using in 2025, and then I will post another video going into how 2026 is going. Okay, so what we have to look at today, this is my Hobonichi Weeks, which was my health and fitness planner, meal and fitness planner, and then this is my Sterling Ink N2 Vertical Compact Common Planner, and that was my everyday carry. And then this was a small Wonderland 222 notebook that I used to keep track of finances. So let's start with that one since it's the biggest and it's already down here. Okay, so this book has 98 pages, 93 pages. And I had set it up at the beginning of the year and discarded it, but then pulled it back in because it's really was thin and convenient and easy to move around. And so I used it to keep track of multiple accounts. And I was doing it kind of in a ledger, check register style for a very long time. And then I saw somebody do it in their Hobonichi Weeks, and I was very inspired, and so we transitioned to this, which is every day as a place to put multiple transactions, and then a total and a total spent. This is the balance, and then total spent. And so I have used that all the way through the end of the year very successfully and very happily. So I even I have multiple accounts I keep track of. That was the main one. This is like groceries, gas, that sort of thing. This account just has small transactions every month that go through it, and it's mostly because I can't figure out how to get those to be transferred to another bank account. This section in the middle was kind of where I was keeping track of credit cards, payments, debt, that sort of thing, and also these are automatic transactions, monthly repeated ones that go through two separate accounts. And so I just kind of moved this little piece of paper to that register as I was checking them off, and then I would put it here when I was done. So this is kind of a grand central statement to get a financial outlook for the month, and that worked really well. I'm carrying that idea into the next year, but I am not using this book for everything. I just have a book that's going to have all of these, and it will go for multiple years. And then I have a Sterling Ink Common Planner horizontal in the N2 size that I'm going to be using to keep track of my transactions. And if you're interested in that, stay tuned for my next video, which I will post that will explain that in detail. Okay, and then here's another account. This one, it was almost all automatic transactions. So basically going through this was just to see if there's anything strange happening, because I did have some fraud on this account earlier this year. You can see some of these red notes here. Multiple things that I had to go through and go to the bank and have them fixed because they were fraudulent. So it's a good review just to see where money's going in and out. I don't reconcile in the traditional way, mostly because I don't really write a lot of checks. So I don't have to worry about whether those come through. What happens, happens. And I'm also pretty much the only one in our family that uses this account. My husband has a separate account for those types of expenditure that he has. He drives an electric vehicle, so he doesn't really need to get gas. It's just mostly eating out or Walmart or whatever. And I don't keep track of that account. That he gets what he gets, and that's how that works. I'm the main purchaser of the family, so it's more important for me to keep up with these kinds of things. So anyway, that worked really well, and I'm moving forward just with a different format than this book for next year with the same thing. Okay. We're going to do a quick flip through. I am missing 3 months from this book because I did not have enough pages in the back for journaling, to-dos, all the things I wanted to do. And so I've moved around through several books. Most of it got compiled in here, but I do have 3 months missing, which is July, August, and October. Those are in different books, and everything else is in here. And the other book is just going to be a companion, and I'm not pulling it out because it's basically the same idea as this. But I did start off the year using a different journal, so the first 6 months of journaling is not in this book at all. This was just a freebie print off that I did of a calendar because it was kind of showing through. This was blood pressure chart I was keeping up with, goals. This one, I was doing the temperatures. I should go and fill that out. That is one thing that I have not finished for this year, and I'm going to give myself a little sticky tab because I felt like this book was done. But you know, sometimes you miss little things that you're like, oh, I need to do that. That won't take long because I have it all written down in there, and I just have to get my highlighters and figure out what color each little section needs to be. You can see there's a couple weeks I forgot to record the temperatures, but otherwise this relates to the highs and the lows of the days. And I have my little chart here at the bottom. Was really bad at tracking habits this year, and not just like habits, but I was trying to track like symptoms, and that's kind of what this section was. I used this mostly in the first 2 quarters. Second quarter I did basically nothing. Third quarter I wasn't in this except for 1 month, so I didn't keep track of anything in here. I may have done some in my other planner, which was a Sterling Ink B6 Part 2. It was a little big. That's why I ultimately came back to this one, because this is just such a really nice size. Fourth quarter I was in here for November and December. I tried to use it, but I just really didn't. I don't know, I'm not good at it. Okay, here's the monthlies. We're just going to flip through January, February, March, April, May, June. I skipped something. July, August, September, October, November, December, and then of course this is January. We are now, but I have that in the next book. Here's how I use my weeklies, just for time blocking, and sometimes I'll put the to-dos in there. Different times of my life I did more decorating than others. I'm not going to show you every single page because you'll get bored. This is where I stopped and started up in the B6. So all of July is empty and most of August, but I did kind of experiment in August a little bit because I was realizing I wanted to transition to a Dutch door system, which is why I didn't finish the year in this, because I needed twice the weekly pages. And so obviously I didn't have enough to finish the year. So I decided to do September in the book like that. So here's my layout, and this is very similar to how I'm using it moving forward with 2 pages, 2 spreads per week. So this is like the to-do lists and charts and things, and this is my time blocking and some health information. I did that all of September. I went back in October because I thought there was no way I could finish this book. Came back in November, but I didn't really have time place for November, so I moved November to the back of this book, right through here, and December. So we finished out the year strong, and this is kind of where I'm at now, where we've got this kind of, I'm going to pull it closer so you can see, a running to-do list. So basically that's my week and the days that I want to get it done. If I don't, I usually move it to the next one that I think I can do it when it's blacked out, it's been finished. Anything else gets crossed out and moved on to the next one. Mood tracker, I'm doing that in the monthly section now, so I don't need to keep that here. Shopping list, sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. I've got basically a page to just brainstorm and that sort of thing. Brain dump. So that's how it's working. I mean, this is what it usually looks like. I've got my to-do list here and then nothing there. But there's not room to put it here. And I've tried doing it at the bottom. It just doesn't really work. And yeah, so that's how it is. So for next year, I'm using this book again, but I'm only using it for 6 months because I just divided the whole book up. So I had my 2 sets of spreads for every week. And that way my back pages can be used for journaling. And that's kind of how my journals look. Well, let's get rid of November. There's some September journals. And before, in the first 6 months of the year, I was using it for my to-do lists. And I even did a running to-do list idea here for a while, but it was hard when it was so far away from where I was. Moving around to multiple parts of the book for stuff that's interconnected is frustrating to me. So I would really love, I love her complete planner idea. If she would make that in some different sizes with soft covers, that could potentially really work well for me. But anyway, that's how the Common Planner went. and I've got it. I think I'm going to hopefully stick with that. You know me, I might change, but I'm happy with where I'm going with that one. Okay, here's the Hobonichi Weeks I used for meals and fitness. That worked really well. I kind of changed my format up quite a bit. I got lazy for a while, so I had to go back and like print screenshots, which made it very bulky. But this is kind of how I like my charts to be. And next year, I'm actually using my weeks for something else. But I do like the weeks over the Common Planner just because I really like this hardcover. And since this goes in and out of my gym bag, it just, I don't know, it doesn't get as mushed up in there. And I like it to be slim. So in the back, I've got charts. This is my Appalachian Trail. I made it to over halfway on the Appalachian Trail this year. I did not know that that's how far I would go. I was very excited. I actually ended up right past Hamburg, Pennsylvania, which is where my husband's grandparents used to live. So that was kind of cool to feel like I know where I'm at on the trail. This I still need to finish by printing off the this data. This is from my watch, like how many of my rings did I close. And so I've obviously finished the year. I just need to print those last 4. This was the section where I was kind of calculating my burn to see if my diet and what I was actually doing was hitting a burn or not, and to help with weight loss because I've really stagnated for a while. And I'm going through some other gut issues, so I'm tracking it coming into the next year, but I'm not, until I've tried all of my different experimental diets, which make it really hard to do macros and all that sort of thing. Until that sort of thing is complete, I am not gonna freak out too much that this is not as tightened up as I would like it to be. But anyway, it worked quite well, and I'm moving forward with that. Here's how my exercise log. I'm doing the exact same thing next year because this worked so well to really be able to see. These are the exercises I do weekly. Each column is for a week, and then, you know, I would do this one day, the next day, and then the next day. So that's worked good. Not keeping track of blood pressure because that stabilized pretty quickly. This little book I have in the back, it has some like notes on exercise stuff. I can move this to my other book if I want to. I've got that kind of memorized, so I probably won't do that. Anyway, that's my 2025. I do have a couple other books that are carrying over, but these are the ones that are really dedicated to 2025 that are ended and complete, and I'm moving forward in the other books. So that's kind of where we're at. Stay tuned for the next video if you're interested in how 2026 is going so far.